MSM and Eton College welcomes you to our MSM Agent eSummit 2020 Live. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting all of us, but we should not let it stop from improving our minds, sharpening our skills, and connecting with each other. Here, in this case, connecting virtually. This session will be taken by none other than our campus director of Eton College, Kalai. Before we start, we would like to take you through the basic features of Zoom webinar. There are multiple options in your control panel if you look at your screens. Please note that this is a webinar and your videos and mics will be inactive during the session. Participate in the webinar by raising your hands option from the raise hand option present in your control panel. Any questions related to Eton College, please put up in the Q&A section that appears in your control panel. For any technical questions, you can put those in the chat box. If your questions are not answered during the webinar, we will be sending an email with all the details. We will also be conducting a poll related to Eton College. We request you to participate for the same. Handing over to Kalai to start the presentation of Eton College. I hope you enjoy our exclusive webinar of Eton College.
Thanks, Dakshita. And before I start, I'd like to say a big thank you to the whole team, including Dakshita, who successfully managed to arrange this webinar. I hope participants, you are staying safe and healthy. I'm talking to you from home, as you know, because of the current difficult situation that Eton College is currently has suspended its operations. We have actually converted all our classes to online. So students and the instructors are teaching the classes online, and students are taking the classes while they are sitting at home. So it's a very difficult situation. I hope that all of y'all are staying healthy and safe, particularly in this very difficult situation. So let me begin by talking about Eton College, talking about the programs, talking about how the operations go, talking about the enrollment processes, and also talking about, particularly the most importantly, is actually our pathway universities, our pathway partners. So let me begin by going through the slides. And at the end of the session, I'm prepared to take questions from you all and answer them to your satisfaction. This is actually a little bit description about myself, so I don't have to actually talk about myself more on this slide, on this presentation, so you can actually read for yourself. Okay, let's start off with a quote, which is an inspirational quote, and it says, "Education is a passport to the future, but tomorrow's belongs to those prepared for it today." It is actually from Malcolm X. Now, Eton College was established in 2003. We are located in downtown Vancouver, and our college is located about 16 kilometers away from the Vancouver International Airport. And as you see on the slide, I've actually put down that around the campus, there are total about coming close to about 100 hotels, restaurants, cafeterias. More about Eton College. We are a well-established private career school located in the heart of Vancouver. And we have actually received accreditation from a number of bodies, regulatory bodies in Vancouver. First of all, we are actually an approved institution under the Provincial Institution and Training Branch, which is called the PTIB. PTIB is they fall under the Ministry of Advanced Education in British Columbia. We are also certified by EQA, which is actually the British Columbia's Education Quality Assurances. And we are also a DLI recognized institution. A DLI means a Designation Learning Institution. And with this recognition, we can actually accept international students all around the world to gain entry into Eton College. And to date, we have actually trained more than about 1,800 students for various industries, not only in BC, not only in Canada, but also globally. Now, why Eton College? I beg your pardon. Because we are an applied learning institution, we are not actually an academic college. As I've told you just now, we are a career-based college, so we train our students to become employees in their respective industries. So a lot of actually applied learning takes place in the classroom. Our classrooms are small, nothing more than 30 students in one class. And the reason why I have done it in such a way is actually because I want the students to have more experience, one-on-one approach while they are teaching the students. So in that way, the students benefit a lot from the classroom. We have transfer options, which I will go through with you all later. We have quite a number of institutions currently where the students, upon completion of their studies at Eton College, they can transfer to these pathway universities or pathway institutions. We are career focused, and we have a lot of professional development related courses. And one of the beauty or one of the strength of our programs is at the end of the programs, the students must do a practicum before they graduate. A little bit of Vancouver. I have lived in Canada for quite a long time, and I've lived in different provinces. However, in Vancouver, one of the greatest beauty about Vancouver, the temperatures are not actually very harsh, particularly in the winter periods. I have lived, just to share with you all, I have lived in Calgary many years ago. And in Calgary, during winter, the temperature can go as low as minus 45 centigrade during the winter period. But in Vancouver, we don't get those type of harsh winters. The temperature actually during the winters is only about minus 5 centigrade. So it's a moderate temperature. And in summer, it's actually very hot. The temperatures can go up to 25 to 27 centigrade. And you can check all these temperature figures in the Wikipedia and also on Google. One of the most livable cities in the world. It's a city which is very rich in nature, which is very rich in beauty. You have to come and see for yourself how Vancouver is. The air quality is good. The water and food quality as well is actually of very good, of high standards. And please refer to Wikipedia if you need more information on the Vancouver city. There are a lot of activities that are conducted in Vancouver city. A lot of entertainment is a city full of recreational and entertainment activities, a lot of sporting activities, a lot of cultural activities. And it's a cosmopolitan city where you will see all sorts of races, all sorts of people around the world come and live in Vancouver. I think I have actually mentioned this about why Eton College, and I'm repeating again, small classes, maximum 30 students, easy public transportation access. We have a SkyTrain that runs along Eton College, and there's a station just near Eton College. So in terms of accessibility for students to come to college and for them to actually travel back home after the college, it's actually very simple, very easy because of the easy public transportation access. The campus also has a cafe. We have a program called the Flight Attendant program. In the Flight Attendant program, a lot of practical things are done in the program to give the students an enriching experience. So we have actually a simulator, which is an aircraft cabin at Eton College, where the students get into the simulator and take their practical classes. We have caring, experienced instructors. One of the things that I have done when I took over Eton College, and I joined Eton College sometime last year, is actually I ensured that all the instructors who teach in the programs, they come from working industry. So they work and they come to teach at Eton College. And the reason I do it is actually because those instructors, when I hire them from the working industry, and when they come to classes to teach, they come and share their practical experiences with the students. So that is actually a plus point of the instructions and the teaching that is carried out by these instructors at Eton College, where they are not only academic by nature, but they are very practical, they're very career-based. So by them coming into the classroom and sharing their experiences, the students benefit a lot from the teaching and learning. I've broken down the slides into three portions. One is accreditation, number two is our programs, and number three is enrollment. So let's start off with accreditation. As I've told you when I started off, that these are the accreditation that we have. I don't think so I want to repeat it, but in summary, we are approved and recognized institution by the PTIB. PTIB is actually the body that actually approves all career-related colleges in British Columbia, and they are part of the Ministry of Advanced Education. We also fall under the EQA standards, EQA designation, and we are also a DLI approved institution where we can actually recruit international students. Okay, this is the most important aspect, the partner institution. Now, what happens here, let me just talk to you all in a little bit slower so that you can understand. Once the student has completed a program at Eton College and they have graduated at Eton College, the students, particularly international students, these international students can transfer to one of our existing or current partner institution and continue the studies by taking a degree program. And by the students taking the degree program, once they graduate, they are allowed or they are eligible to apply for their postgraduate work permit status, which is called PGWP. So let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. They come to Eton College and take a 2-year diploma program. So once they have completed a 2-year diploma program, that brings a total of 60 credits. And with that 60 credits, they're eligible to transfer to one of these universities, which I've actually put on the slides. It's either Capilano University or Royal Roads University or Vancouver Community College, where they can actually go into their 3rd year and start with a degree program. And once they have actually completed the 3rd and the 4th year of the degree program at this partner institution, and they graduate with a degree, the students are eligible to apply for the postgraduate work permit, which gives them a 3 years work permit to work anywhere in Canada. So that actually is an added value for Eton College program, because by doing so, by the time the student complete the work permit, by the time they complete their work at Canada, they are eligible to apply for their permanent residency. And this is actually a plus point, particularly at this time where students can come to Canada and actually, they can actually steal the privilege of this postgraduate work permit and earn a better living, and probably they want to actually remain and live in Canada. So currently, these are the 3 universities that we have, but I'm growing the numbers. We are currently in negotiations with quite a number of public institutions in Canada, and you will see soon the numbers of the partner institutions increasing. Our programs. Now, to talk about our programs, basically there are 4 programs. The first is actually business administration. The second program is travel and tourism management. The third program is hospitality management program. And the last program is called the flight attendant preparation program. However, majority of the students, or I would say 95% of the students, when they come to Eton, they don't take just one program, but they combine it with another program. For example, a student who comes to Eton College and takes the travel and tourism program will combine it with a flight attendant program, which you see on this slide there. A student who comes into a hospitality management program will actually combine it with a flight attendant program. So by doing that, they are able to actually study more years, they study more time at Eton College, and they become more versatile when they seek an employment because of their combined programs, not only one program, not only a solo program, but because they have combined the program, they tend to actually be more versatile, and more versatile in the sense that more versatile in getting an employment with the industry in British Columbia. Employers like that. They like the students to take a combined program because that gives them more skills, more experience, and therefore the employers tend to hire these students rather than students with just one program. So you will see these are the combined programs that we have, and I put it in 2 slides. You see they can come and take, the students can come and take a solo program business administration, but they can also combine it with other programs, as I've already mentioned in on the slides. You see on the slide here, there's also a program called the Business Environment Communication Program. It is not actually a program. This is actually for students who do not meet the minimum requirement of the IELTS, which I'll talk to you all in a little bit. And those students who do not meet the minimum requirement, we encourage the students to take the Business Environment Communication and then complete this program before they move into the actual program. Actual program means the business administration, the travel and tourism, or the hospitality, or the flight attendant program, or the combined programs, which I was talking to you all a few minutes ago. Right, employment and industry. Let's talk about employment first. In order for the students to gain employment, successful employment, we do quite a number of things in the college. These are the extra work that we do with the students. We conduct professional development programs. So not only they take the classes, but we also bring a lot of professional development, prepare them for the industry. We do a lot of career preparation workshops, seminars to help the students to find a career. One example that we do is actually resume writing. The students have to have a good resume for them to present it to the employer, so the employer can actually start interviewing them or start hiring them. We also bring in industry guest speakers in the relevant sector, from usually the CEOs or the chief operating officer. We welcome them, we get them into Eton College, and they speak about the industry. They speak about a particular topic, an interesting topic in the industry. We also conduct job fairs for them to get ready for the jobs and the interviews. So these are the little things that we do with the students. The industry, as I mentioned to you earlier, Vancouver is actually an attractive spot. And as you can see that it is the third largest tourist destination in Canada. Just in 2018, tourists that came to BC was 21.13 million. The tourism industry in Canada brings a lot of revenue. It's 97.4 billion Canadian dollars. And because of that, there are more than 300,000 employment opportunities in the tourism and hospitality industry in BC. And air transportation is another largest service industry in Canada. Okay, let's talk about enrollment. Enrollment, I will tie it up with admissions requirements. Okay, for international students, it's very simple. All I need to see is actually the students must have completed a high school, grade 12. I've changed the directions a little bit. We welcome adult students. So an adult students may not have actually met grade 12, but the adult students may have working experience. I do consider that working experience is actually an important thing. So when adult students apply into Eton College, I take into consideration the working experience the students have and evaluating them and actually accepting them into Eton College. Sorry. Okay. The English proficiency requirement. Now, in addition to the grade 12 qualifications that the student must have to enter into Eton College, the students must also have good English proficiency requirements because our courses are taught in English. And most of the international students that take IELTS, of course, you know, we welcome the students to take TOEFL or CLB or other type of English proficiency requirements which we recognize. But the most importantly, and we are seeing more and more students taking IELTS, and the minimum overall band test score that we need for Eton students to join Eton College is 6.0. That's an overall score. However, as I've told you, we have what we call a business environment communication program. So let's say, for example, if the student doesn't meet the 6.0 score, but let's say they have one score lower than 6.0, which is actually a 5.5, then what we do is actually we encourage the students, or we ask the students to complete an Eton College business environment communication program. So they will get into the Eton College business environment communication program. There are 3 levels in the program. It all depends on whether the student need to complete all the 3 levels. That depends on the professor who's teaching the course. So let's say we get a student who get into the the business environment communication program, and they get into the level 1. And by the time the student completes level 1, the instructor or the professor feels the student is actually proficient in the English language, then what the professor will do, the professor will actually make a recommendation that the student doesn't have to take level 2 and level 3. And therefore, by doing the level 1, the student can actually skip the level 2 and level 3 and get into the actual program. It all depends on how the student performs in the class. So it's basically performance-based. And if the student is actually good in the English, in the English proficiency, then the student actually moves into the actual program. Right. We're going to do a poll section. Please raise your hand if you're able to see the polls that are on the screen. And let's have a quick poll. While you are doing the poll, I'm just looking at the poll, and the feedback that you are giving, you are saying that Eton College should add more programs. That's a good question. That's a good feedback. One of the things that I'm doing at the moment is actually we are developing and more programs to be brought into Eton College. I'm not going to say the details. I'm not going to reveal the details, but you will see more programs coming into Eton College. And the other thing that I'm also doing is I'm forming up actually a project. It's a team project where I'm actually moving those programs that are taught based to online. So a lot of work is currently being done there. So you will see sooner or later the students will have an option not only to take classes on a face-to-face teaching, but also take classes on online as well. So you will see more new programs coming up. And there's also another thing that I'm seeing a feedback to say that there are, we should add more health-related programs. Yes, I do agree. We are currently working on a healthcare program. It will be launched very soon because we have to actually submit that program to our regulatory authorities for approval. So you will actually, by this year, you will see some healthcare related programs that are coming up, will be introduced at Eton. And I also see good feedback coming up to say that we should have practicum internship-based programs to help our students for better industry placement. I totally agree with you. In fact, all our programs, we have at the end of the program, the students will actually be required to take a practicum, and we have good practicum hosts in Vancouver, but the students actually get into practicum by doing their practicum with this good practicum host. Okay, so let's go to the questions, and feel free to put in your questions, fill up your questions, and I'm happy to take those questions. I'm running through some questions. I can see that one of the participants have asked that can there be a bridging program, college to university as package, because the attendee is actually from Nepal. As to government rule for diploma courses, students can't get visa. Yes, this is actually where I was talking to you. We have three pathway universities where upon the completion of the diploma programs at Eton College, the students can actually transfer to our pathway universities, complete a degree, and they can actually get a work visa, not a study visa, sorry, a work visa to work in Canada and get a good employment. There's another question by when is Eton College planning to start a postgraduate courses? We are actually designing postgraduate courses and expecting these postgraduate courses to be launched by the end of this year.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I will also be there to answer some questions on behalf of Kalai. Thank you so much for all your questions. We have been noting your questions and trying to answer as many as we could. But as we can see that there is no end to the questions, so we will be taking questions one by one. Please don't worry if the questions are not being answered. We'll definitely be emailing you shortly. So yeah, the first question is, could you please explain the partner institute part again? Yes, we have our three partner institutions. One is Capilano University, the other one is Vancouver Community College, and the third one is Royal Roads University. And
I have answered the second one.
yes, okay. So is there any separate fees for English program? So Kalai, do you want to take this? Separate fees for English program?
Sorry, which program you're talking about? I can't understand. I'm not. Is
Okay.
there?
Yeah, so the question says, is there any separate fees for English program?
Yes, there is a separate fee if the students are required to take the business environment communication program. It's $1,500. That's all they got to pay in order to take that program.
Okay.
And I also see another question to say, is there an English test waiver for Nigerian students? A very good question. Nigerian students are basically, the language of instruction is in English, and therefore they do not have to actually take an English proficiency requirement. We give a waiver for that. Go on, Dakshita.
Yeah, okay. So what about the accommodation and travel services? Yeah, we are at the Vancouver downtown location. We really do not have any scarcity of accommodation or any travel services. It's one of the, we are based in the heart of the city. So yes, we definitely have all kinds of facilities available for all our international students. So yeah, in PT, any mandatory score? Yes, we will be sending you a detailed program matrix in your inboxes very, very soon. So how many days it will take to get the refund? So yeah, it depends. Maximum we will be taking around 30 working days or 35 working days for the refund. That's the maximum that we will be taking. Yeah, and then please put on some lights on the transfers. We have already discussed it many a time. So our partner institutions are, again, I would like to repeat, Capilano University, Vancouver Community College, and Royal Roads University. We have got various programs which offers transfers to our partner institutions. And yeah, we will definitely be, after the completion of successful credits like average B grade from Eton College, the student will be transferred to our partner institutions. So what about the fee structure? Yes, so fee structure, so it varies for all the programs. Our fees is very, very nominal for all the students. We start from, let's say, some $13,000 to $15,000 to $16,000 per year.
There's another one I'm taking on, Dakshita. It's a very good question. While taking credit transfer to partner institutions within college, do students also need to have required IELTS score for the institution requirement? My answer is, since they have already got the IELTS requirement at the time they're entering into Eton College, they do not need to have another IELTS score at the time they're transferring to the partner institution.
Thank you, Kalai. Are you planning to add IT courses? We are definitely planning to add more programs. And as Kalai mentioned, that by the end of this year, we might have some good news very, very soon for all of us.
There's another question, say, please, what is the turnaround time for an application? Usually it's between 24 hours to 48 hours. That's a turnaround for the application. That is actually subject that all the documents are complete, then you can expect the turnaround time for an application between 24 hours to 48 hours. What is the average teaching hours per week? It's usually 12 hours per week. That's the teaching hours per week.
So
Can
our
any stream student can enroll into your course, or are there any specific requirements? No, all they need is actually a grade 12 qualifications plus a IELTS entrance requirement. That's all they need. They don't need any additional or specific requirements. There's a question by somebody to say, Andrew Anonuo from Philippines. I have been talking to some local university colleges here in the Philippines, and they're asking if Eton is open for a 3+3 month program, so 3 months academic, 3 months paid internship for a maximum of 400 and maximum of 600. Is this possible? I'm not so sure what you're trying to ask here. If you can actually elaborate, I'll be happy to help you out with your question.
conditional
Go on,
offer.
Darshita.
Yeah, so
Go on,
conditional
Darshita.
offer letters without grade 12 and IELTS score is available. Yeah, we do provide conditional offer letters based on the predicted scores of the student. Yes, if the student meets our admission requirements, then we will definitely be providing the conditional offer letters. Please apply soon. How many days you will issue the offer letter? As Kalai mentioned, we will be issuing the offer letters in 24 to 48 hours. It's just that the only condition is that your documents should be complete. Does Eton...
What kind of, sorry, go on, Dakshita.
Sorry, Kalai. Yeah, please go on.
What kind of degree do students get from partner institutions, diploma or bachelor's degree? Partner institutions, when they go to a partner institution, if they go and actually do a 2 years program at the pathway, a partner university, they get a degree. Some of the students, they want to do 1 year at Eton and 1 year at the partner institution. That is actually, they will receive a diploma program, a diploma award, not a diploma degree. I'm sorry, diploma award.
So there is a very nice question. Does Eton College provide extension to the students, those who have got their visas? We definitely understand the delay in some of the students' planning, or you can say the travel plans. It depends on case to case, and we will definitely be considering all your students' plans, like how it changed. But yeah, it actually depends on the correct reason. We are quite accommodative when it comes to the students. In future, will you offer courses for nurses? Yeah, definitely. We will be getting few new programs, but that again takes time. And yeah, by the end of this year, we will definitely be ensuring some of the new programs in different fields will come. And
there is a question here for flight attendant course. What stream students should have? Year 12, commerce or non-medical? For flight attendant course, it does not matter as long as they have a grade 12. It can be a commerce, it can be a non-medical, it can be a sciences related science stream. The students will be able to actually enter into the flight attendant course. Go on, Darshit.
So PSW available. As we mentioned, we have our partner institutions. They to transfer in our partner institutions and get the PGWP. How many days a class runs in a week? Very interesting question for all, and it is actually one of like very important questions for all of the students. It actually depends on program to program, and I think that Kalai did some changes with our recent students. So Kalai, could you please answer this question, that like how many days our classes are there in a week?
Yeah, before I took over, when I came into Eton College, and I saw that classes were held on a Monday to Friday. So every student was coming to class, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I find that is actually cumbersome. It's not only cumbersome, but it's also not cost effective, because students have to come all the way where they're living to Eton to study every day, to take a course every day. So what I've done is I've streamlined the whole thing. Maximum number of days the student actually come to Eton College, I've limited to 3. Sometimes it can be 2, sometimes it can be 3. So that means they have rest days for 2 days. So let's say, for example, they have a class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That means they have the off days as Thursday and Friday. And of course, together with the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, they get a long break. By doing that, the students are able to actually can do a lot of work at home. They're able to complete their homework, and they're also able to get a part-time job and have some pocket money with them.
Thank you, Kalai, for the answer. I hope that it is helpful for all our agents present over here. Okay, so there's again a very interesting question. Does Eton College help students to find a job? So
the answer is we do help, but we don't get a job for the students. So there's two different things. We do help students to get a job because we probably have a lot of workshops, career preparation workshops, where we help the students to write a proper resume, because the way they write a resume in their country is totally different than how they write a resume in Canada. So we train the students how to write a resume. So we help them to get a job, but we do not actually get them a job for them. So that actually rests on the student, to apply for a job and to secure a job.
Thank you, Kalai.
Go on, Dakshita, no worries.
Yeah, so someone has asked for our intakes, our upcoming intake. So would you like to highlight any particular point on our particular intake?
Okay, we have intakes practically every month, but the biggest intake or the largest intake are actually, there are three intakes. One is in January, another one is in May, and the last one is actually in September of each year. But in between, of course, we got smaller intakes. Do you accept Pearson Test of English, PTA? Yes, I do accept now. So it's not only IELTS, but we accept TOEFL, we accept the Pearson Testing of English too, PTE. The duration of the back program, for students who have less than the 6.0 overall score in the IELTS is 3 months. But as I've told you in my presentation, that they do not have to actually complete the entire 3 months program. It all depends on the proficiency that the students gain when in their program. So let's say after 1 month, the student has actually met the required standards of the English proficiency. The professor will then recommend that students are waived from the level 2 and level 3. And by doing that, the students can leave after completing their level 1 into the actual programs. Go on, Dakshita.
Yeah, so Kalai, there's a question. Does Eton has international student counselors or support team? Would you like to answer that?
We have what we call a support team. We have a student services coordinator who takes care of all student inquiries, help them in terms of preparing them to get a job, help them in terms of securing a practicum at the end of their all their courses, because before the student actually graduate, practicum is actually a mandatory requirement. So the student services coordinator assists the students in actually securing a practicum for them. We also, when the student actually run into study issues, the student services coordinator is actually there for the students to counsel and help the students out.
Thank you, Kalai.
Go on, Dakshita.
Yeah, so
there's a good question. Why students choose pathway programs rather than direct university? That's a very good question. If a student actually chooses to enter into a university for the entire 4 years, that's a lot more expensive. But coming into Eton and taking the Eton College program for 2 years, the fees are lower. So they keep their costs low. So when they go to the 3rd and the 4th year of the university, all they're going to do is actually spend the 3rd and the 4th year, the fees for the 3rd and the 4th year. So it's actually one way of keeping the cost low. Go on, Dakshita.
Yes, so Kalai, there is a question that are there any specific GPA requirements once the student completes the degree from the diploma from Eton College to get transferred to our partner institutions? So would you like to highlight that?
Right. The minimum is actually they should get a grade C in all the courses. Some of the universities have grade B. It depends on what the pathway university's requirement are, but then that is actually the minimum grade they have to get in each of the courses. The minimum requirement, the GPA or the CGPA is a 2.0. Okay. Right.
I hope this is helpful. So there is a question, how long academic gap is acceptable? We are an education institution. We take care of the students' education, and when it comes to gap, as long as it is justified, we do not have any problem.
Right, there's another question. Can your application fee payment be made using credit card or Flywire or PayPal? These are easier. But one good news is currently we have launched our Flywire. If you go into Eton College website, you can actually see there's a link there. It's called the Flywire link. And by clicking into the Flywire link, the students can make the payments directly to us. So this is actually something that I've introduced to make life much more easier for the guardian, for the parents and the students. Go on, Dakshita.
Yes, Kalai. So again, so there is this accommodation question. I think that we have answered that we are at the heart of the city and there are plenty of options available for the students. Okay, so Kalai, there is again one of the interesting question. Is there any popular program of your institution?
The flight attendant preparation program is one of the most popular program because it's a very niche program because we prepare our students to become steward and stewardess in the airlines industry. That's one program. The second program is actually the travel and tourism. That's another good program. And the last is actually the hospitality management program. These are the current programs, but I'm in the midst of actually introducing new programs. I cannot actually reveal the details because currently it's in the approval stages, but once it's approved and when we do the launching, we will let you know.
Thank you, Kalai. The next question is, what is the placement rate for flight attendant program?
There's no placement for the flight attendant program. So the students actually, upon completion of the flight attendant program, they will actually immediately, they will get a job. They can actually, they have to apply and they will get a job. Not necessarily as a steward or stewardess in the airlines industry. They can be ground staff working in a particular airlines industry. And we have many students who have actually graduated from the flight attendant program. Currently, they are working as a steward or stewardess or as a ground staff at WestJet. That's one of the airlines in Canada. Also in Air Canada as well. We have students who are working in the Philippines, Air Philippines. We also have students working for Cathay Pacific, and we also have students working for the Emirates Airlines. Go on, Dakshita.
Yeah, thank you, Kalai. Kalai, what is our application fees? I see this question many times coming up.
I've actually, the application fee was $250, but I waived it to 100. We are still keeping it at 100, but there's a rebate that we are providing to the students. Instead of paying 250, we have now actually lowered it to 100.
Thank you, Kalai.
Okay.
Yeah, so any changes because of COVID-19? I think that we are coming up with online classes.
The COVID, yes. I've moved all my classes to online, so students can actually take those classes online. We are actually moving into another project of actually, currently the online classes are taught in such a way that they are done by a Zoom meeting. So the instructors and the students actually take the classes online via the Zoom meeting, and they have all these materials posted on an online platform. But more than that, I'm actually moving into a proper e-learning design courses. where these courses, by taking the courses, the way it is actually being built, they're very interactive in nature, they're very simulative, and this is actually something that will be launched in about 2 or 3 months' time from now. Okay, go on, Rishita.
Yes. So I see a lot of questions for COVID-19. As Kalai mentioned, we're going on to online classes. We're having our online programs. Our children are not facing any issues because all the classes are being taken online. I hope this answers your questions. And then I see the NWAC board being accepted. Yes, we do accept NWAC board. It's just that the student should meet our admission requirements, our minimum admission requirements. We will be sending a detailed program matrix post this session to all the email IDs. Please wait for the same. There is a question, IELTS pending student can get the conditional offer letter. Yes, if the student is meeting the admission requirements, the academic requirements, the student will get the conditional offer letter.
Well, talking about that, let's say, for example, the student is actually not meeting the IELTS requirement or any English proficiency requirement. We are now going to launch what we call is our own English placement test. Those tests were only available for local domestic students. But now I'm actually going to launch it by this week, an English placement test, our local English placement test. The test will be put on a secure website, and I will make an announcement very soon. So the students anywhere in the world can take this test. It is actually going to be, it's a time-based test, so a time will be set. The students will get into the website. They will have a password, they will have an ID, they will get into it, and they will take the test. If they pass the test, then they don't have to actually retake the IELTS anymore. But as an entrance, they still have to take the IELTS and see where they are standing. So if they get an overall score of 6.0, then they don't have to take our own English placement test. But if they score less than that, then we require them to take our own English placement test and meet the required score before they can be accepted into Eton.
Thank you, Kalai. So
there's a question there. Does Eton College provided an extension of few days to visa approved applicants? Yes, we have. Usually it's 1 week after the actual start date of the class. The students are allowed to actually come in. We advise the students to work with the instructors and to do all the catch-ups. The catch-ups are actually something they got to do because they have missed quite a chunk of materials and teaching and learning during that first week of the missed classes. So yes, we do. I do actually approve students to actually to come into Eton College 1 week after the actual classes have started, but they are required to do all the catch-up classes.
So Kalai, there is again a question, how long is the duration of program? We have got varied programs. So
yeah, it depends, it differs, some of the programs actually, they are, if you take a solo program, it runs 7 to 8 months, but if you take a combined programs, it can go as a maximum of about 19 months, which I will say is actually 2 years. So if you, to keep it short, to keep it in a very brief form, if they take a solo program, it's usually a year program. If they take a combined program, it usually comes to a 2 years program.
Thank you, Kalai. So we did answer the duration of the question. And backlogs. Do you want to say anything on the backlogs, Kalai? Like how many backlogs we accept?
What do you mean by backlogs?
Backlogs is like if the student has appeared for one of the grade again and again, or one of the courses again and again. So to answer this, we provide the diploma programs and we haven't seen any student with a lot of backlogs. So
That means you're talking about failures?
yeah.
That means they don't pass the course? 95 or 96% of the students at Eton College, they are okay. They do well. They don't repeat a course. But there are instances where the student actually, they don't actually pass a course. So in the event the student don't pass a course, they got to retake the course before they graduate. They don't have to retake a course before moving into another course. We usually allow the students, let's say when the student fails, they can get into the next course which is offered in the next period. But they must actually retake the course that they have failed before they graduate, right? So 96% is the success rate, and the passing rate is actually very high. 96% of the students actually pass every course before they move into the next course. But there are some students who do not pass. Sometimes it all depends. Sometimes we get the students to talk to the instructor and ask the instructor to do a makeup course for them, a makeup assignment for them, a makeup coursework for them. If the passing grade is actually very minimal, it's just one mark low or 2 marks low, then we ask them to do a makeup exams or makeup course. But if they've really failed in the course, and they have failed in the course so badly, then these students must actually retake the course before they graduate.
Thank you, Kalai.
Okay.
So Kalai, any interesting question that you see? There are so many.
Yeah. I think I don't think so. We have all the time to answer to all questions here on a live chat session. But
Yes.
what we can do is we will take a look at all these questions and provide these questions in a written format, right? And send it off to the participants, the attendees. But I can see those are very, very good questions, and those questions are very valuable.
Yes, we will definitely be taking care of it, Kalai, and to all our partner agents. Yes, we will definitely be answering you. We will make sure that each and every question is being answered, and your counselors are trained. Everyone is trained completely on all our programs, and you're all set to recruit for Eton College. Thank you so much for joining. Kalai, over to you for some goodbye wishes.
Right. And thank you so much, in listening to my presentation. It was such a pleasure in talking to you all, in answering all the questions, even though I have not seen you on a face-to-face, but I can see, a lot of participants, a lot of attendees here have taken a lot of interest, on Eton College and Eton College program. Wish you all the best. Stay safe and stay healthy.